Hi, Glenn.
Sorry.
Hello. We're going to do
Hello.
it. Hi. So, first time in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the hectic city.
I know, yeah.
It's great having you here
The Matrix.
in the Matrix. How do you feel?
But it's amazing. I mean, I've been here for like, what, since last night, 10
Yeah,
10
so
p.m.
you're
it's
not on your 24 hours yet.
Not even yet 24 hours, but already is a lot of information. It's such a bustling city. It's such an explosion
Yeah.
of information. So it feels a bit like I'm in a different reality. I'm like living a bit like in a, I'm experiencing some kind of like fairy tale moments,
Yeah.
which is very exciting.
So, I'd like to ask you the question I start every interview with, which isn't, it's always a bit tricky one. Who is Glenn Martens?
A lot of things, potentially. Well, first of all, I think I'm like the representation of Europe. I'm born in Germany. I'm Belgian. I live in Paris, but I work in Italy. So it's already quite good. So I have like a bit of everything. But then, and I think that kind of like all over Europe living or being also reflects a bit to how I also live life. I'm trying to be a person which is at ease in every single situation. I love to go hiking, as I love to go to the opera. I love to go to Dubai, as I love to be like sleeping in a tent somewhere in Scotland. I love raving in Berlin for 24 hours. I love going to Versailles. So it's somebody I'm trying to be a person which is enjoying and tasting every single thing that the world can give. As for today, hopefully. Curiosity. Yeah.
Always. So you were appointed at Diesel in 2020. I like to call your arrival. I feel like it was a creative revolution. How has it been navigating such a popular name as Diesel in these 4 years?
It's definitely been a challenge, of course. It's a big machine. I mean, I have to admit that I feel very blessed because I didn't expect the engagement to be so fast. You know, like when I arrived at Diesel 3 years ago, it was a beautiful brand. It was working very well. I came with proper goals also. CEO and people had said like, okay, this and this you have to reach. And that's, everybody dreams about that. And of course, the fact that we succeeded in it was in the roadmap, but I didn't expect it to go so fast. And I think it's definitely because I think my attitude, how to drive this brand has been very directional and very straightforward and quite aggressive in a way also. I mean, meaning that Diesel never had a creative director for the full brand. So they had creative directors for different categories, for ready to wear or show or whatever. They didn't have shows, but like specific like departments. I'm taking care of every single thing that Diesel has a Diesel logo on it. And obviously, I was also quite junior when Lorenzo hired me because I came from Y Project, which is a very independent brand, very niche. We have 40 employees. Suddenly, at the head of this multi-billion company with thousands of markets and products and people, and I just went there how I felt it. So I just like went with my two big shoes, super fat, super aggressive. The teams never had a creative director, so they didn't really know how to deal with me either. So they were following me, and I think the reason of our success is that we went quite hard.
But it feels instinctive also. I feel like it comes from inside. It's something very natural to you, I guess, as well.
Well, I think the brand is definitely well fitting to my way of living. You know, like I think the most important thing is that Diesel is about successful living. It's like about enjoying life and having fun and owning every single situation. And as I was saying a bit earlier, that's also how I try to live my life. You know, like I can very easily feel comfortable in any kind of environment. And Diesel is supposed to be that brand also, to a brand who's talking to every single person. But and I'm also quite in your face, and Diesel is quite in your face. So I think it's a good match.
You can't miss the logo. That's right.
The logo.
You can't miss the logo.
Wasn't me. I didn't do that.
So you're in Dubai now. We're celebrating the reopening of the Dubai Mall flagship, which is very exciting. Also with capsule, which is dedicated to the city. I've seen the 1DR bag with the flag. The Denim has the patch on it, which is pretty cool. What would you say makes this collaboration so strong and this capsule actually? How involved were you in that new direction for the store?
I mean, it's a very straightforward, simple capsule, to be honest. It's not that we went creatively like with crazy experimentations. It was really like, it's really bold in your face, but I also think that's kind of fitting with Dubai. It's not, Dubai is also a very straightforward city.
It's a loud city.
It's a loud city, so we really wanted to be loud and also straightforward. And but also Dubai is also very exclusive. Well, I think the biggest take what we did is we have the big Diesel Biscotto logo, which is the red box with Diesel written on it. That's a logo which we actually, in the past, only used for advertisements. We never put it into garments, and I'm the one who actually brought it into ready to wear. So we do have garments with the Diesel Biscotto logo on t-shirts, sweaters.
It's so memorable.
It's very memorable,
so
but
memorable.
as I was quite new on clothes, I never allowed my teams to touch it or to play with it. And now for the very first time, as it's for Dubai and and I mean, we've had a very long collaboration with Dubai since ever. I was a bit like, hey, this is maybe the moment where we're going to play with it. So we actually fit it in Dubai instead of Diesel in the same graphic. So it's a fun, cute take.
So Diesel is, I feel, the denim temple. It's a surprise to no one, I guess. And I feel like it's obviously the material and the garment that we all have in our closets in different ways and manners. There's so many ways to adopt denim and make it personal. Would you say Diesel made you fall in love with denim again? And how did you go about pushing the boundary of this fabric that's so popular?
I think that's a really clever point what you say, actually. It's popular. It's really, denim is the most democratic fabric in the world. Regardless of who you are, sexuality, religion, what you have in your wallet, where you grew up, denim is going to be part of your language. It's part of, it's really like a universal dress code. So I think that is the great value of Diesel and the great value of denim. And of course, that's also one of the reasons why I came to Diesel, because I could talk to so many more people in so many different directions, thanks to a very simple fabric. Obviously, as a creative director, you always go back to the founding values of the brands, and denim is of course one, but secondly, denim treatments is number two. Diesel really has 40 years of know-how of how to do treatments, abbreviation, distress, and me being more like conceptual designer, I thought that was a whole challenge. The exciting part of Diesel is like, how can we, in an alternative way, in a conceptual way, work on the fabric, on the materialization of denim, and how can we create something new within a very known language. And I think that's where we've been thriving quite well on the runways and on the most exclusive products is where.
So I think the brand has played such a key role when it comes to pop culture, especially with celebrities. Diesel advertisements were, I think, amongst the most iconic through time. I think it's also very appealing. You were talking about the Biscotto logo, which is a strand. I think you can't miss it. Even if you put the Dubai letters in the middle of it, I can spot from a mile away that it's the Biscotto logo. And I think in that whole approach to your creative direction, you've been really powerful into making sure these pop culture parallels were in place. Can you tell us a little bit more about that pop culture heritage at Diesel and how much you related to it?
Well, I mean, I grew up in Diesel heydays, and which was also the heydays of MTV and pop culture, and it was everywhere. So that's a little factor that maybe was forgotten the last 10 years. I think Diesel went a bit more in a rock and roll vibe, or a bit more like darker club vibe. And so when I arrived, of course, again, yeah, as a creative director, you try to find the founding values of the brand. You try to re-celebrate the DNA. And pop culture was definitely, for me and for most of us, actually, I think, like one of the core reasons why Diesel became such a massive status symbol. So revisiting that and re-celebrating that just came very natural. And I think that's also why it's such a success. Of course, we have right now, as everybody knows, like this, of course, a Y2K celebration. But for us, it's really part of our blood, and it's part of who we are. And I can really go sometimes into the archive of Diesel, because we have the Diesel Museum at HQ, which is 3 floors of just Diesel vintage pieces. It's amazing that you can just like take a t-shirt and say like, I want to wear this right now, and it's actually 35 years old. So that's a blessing for me also.
You, I think, played a key role in also democratizing Diesel even more than, I mean, the center fabric of Diesel, which was always denim, has been a very democratic fabric. But I would like to talk about the fashion shows under your creative direction, which have been interesting to say the least. I saw the last one was a rave, which is also very aligned with
You were there?
your curiosity. I wish I was there. I wasn't.
Next
I
time
saw,
you
and it
will
was a rainy rave, I think.
Yeah, it was
That's
crazy.
what I saw, yeah. I know Martin Margiela was one of the pioneers in making sure people in the streets had access to the show. And I know that I think the last one and most likely the next one are first come, first serve.
Always a little bit.
Yeah, always a little bit. We're trying to make sure people have access. I want to talk about exclusivity in fashion and how important it is to let people have access to the dialogue. Was this something that always mattered to you when you arrived at Diesel?
Well, for Diesel, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because we are for successful living, we are a lifestyle brand first. So I don't think this brand owns the luxury segment. Even that doesn't mean that we cannot do luxury garments a little bit, but we are a lifestyle brand. We are for everybody. We're an active brand. People need to be able to live life, to have fun, to have children, to go shopping, to like live actively and nail actively their life in Diesel. That doesn't mean that at a certain point, Renzo and the board decided to actually bring Diesel to the runway, because I was there and they were like, okay, like we have Glenn Martens now directing this brand, and Glenn is really good in runways, so let's make him do this kind of things. And I was, of course, very happy. I mean, I always like to do a show, but I had a bit of a thing like, okay, like we're going to be now in Milan Fashion Week next to Prada and Bottega Veneta, but we are not going to be them because we are alternative to them. But we still have to have a reason to be there. So the whole idea was, of course, first of all, okay, on the runway, we're not going to like show cashmere pieces or like embroidered pieces. Let's do luxury in a different way. So it's all about, again, as I was saying, treatments. The starting point is active fabrics, denim, jersey, whatever, but then we're going to work on it and treat them maybe 5-6 times, which will make the price point maybe more expensive than the classic ready-to-wear brand, but that's okay. It's a small part of the whole global Diesel. So that's really where my teams are working on, like alternative luxury. But then also on top of that, I was a bit like, well, I'm not going to play that kind of game either of being in Milan Fashion Week and only talk to exclusive people, which are the fashion editors and the top buyers. I want to talk to everybody because this is who my people are, everybody. So let's try to find a new way how to bring runways to the people. So indeed, like last show, we had like a 7 hours rave or something. I think it was from 5 p.m. till 2 in the morning. 7,000 people could come for free. But the whole challenge is always to bring democracy in a different way, of course. And you cannot always open it up to 7,000 people because you don't have those venues anyway in Milan.
Yeah.
But now we are installing video cameras in every single department at the show prep. 5 days before the show, we have everywhere video cameras. So people can online on diesel.com follow
see what's going on.
Yeah, so it's the style out. So they're going to see me and my stylist dressing out. They're going to see the casting. They're going to see the retouches where the atelier is happening, the show venue, which I think is great because, I mean, how many people can really see what's happening in the backstage, what's happening before a show?
Yeah,
Nobody
very
ever
little,
saw that.
yes.
Nobody ever saw that. And normally also most brands, they keep everything secret until it's on the runway. And we decided to like do the opposite. And I think this whole transparency, openness,
it's the rawness of Diesel as well. Yeah, it makes sense.
Stressing me out like hell, really.
You're talking about how Diesel is a brand that aims to cater to as many people as possible, because I think the lifestyle aspect of it is what's very important as well. How would you define within that democratic approach the Diesel man and the Diesel woman? Would you say that they have your curiosity towards things?
I mean, that's kind of a bit like what you've been out something that I was that I'm trying really to represent very well is that we don't have a man, we don't have a woman. It's not like another brand where this is the woman, this is the man, whatever. For us, it's really about like the ethos. It's for successful living. So it's like no bullshit, straightforward, have fun, be sexy, enjoy your life.
Just feel yourself.
Respect each other, of course, always. But it's a really no bullshit mentality. And I think that is really the core to every single thing we do, even on a runway when you have more luxury types of products, but also in the underwear. Like it's everywhere. It's supposed to be this really in
it's
your
a 360
face.
vision.
And that's, I think, what makes it also so exciting and why I'm so excited by it, because I'm, of course, a very hyperactive person, way too curious and get bored really easily, but I can, within that kind of ethos, I can play in so many different ways, and I can do so many different types of products and so many different types of events, and they always make sense because, as long as you stay true to this consistency of
it's authentic. It's an authentic vision. You've mentioned it earlier. We've experienced a big Y2K revival. However, it's part of the Diesel DNA. So for Diesel, it's not really a revival.
Yeah.
Would you say that for fashion on a bigger scale, it's a temporary rebirth? And what do you think is next?
Well, I think there's always a cycle, no? There's a never-ending cycle. So what happens after Y2K? I should know because I lived it originally. So I know it's like more this kind of rave, I guess. No, I don't know. Like, but I'm sure there's going to be like something.
Another revolution.
Yeah, it's always like another like revival, revolution. But for Diesel, for sure, we're going to have always this kind of like pop culture in there. And I think, but pop culture doesn't have to be Y2K.
It evolves.
It can evolve, of course. I think we will evolve as every single brand evolves always. It's a never-ending routine of evolving and growing.
Glenn, I have a last question for you
Already?
before we split ways. It went by fast,
Super
actually
fast,
very
yeah.
fast. Do you have a secret you'd like to share with us before we split ways?
I'm a very straightforward, simple person, to be honest. What was my secret? I have a secret. Do I have a secret? Maybe more about the show.
Could be. Oh, that could be the secret. I'll be
I know
looking
that's
forward to
because
hear.
we did say that the show is like it's going to be like the prep of the show. 5 days will be live streamable, so you can 24 hours a day follow the whole process, what's
See
happening.
the whole team.
But then on the show, we will have the live streamers will be actually projected on screens. So you have actually the show will be like a massive Zoom call of hundreds of people. So while you come to the show, you will actually, as the venue, you will see the hundreds. It's more than it's like I think we have 800 people at the same time on the Zoom call watching the show, but you're also watching them. So they watch you and you watch back.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's
And are these people the Diesel team?
No, they're just people all over the world.
It's all over the world.
All over the world. So
Right.
it's like also first comes, first served.
So you can be the show.
So you can be in the show, even you're at home, you are in the show, you will be on the Zoom screen, you will see, I don't know who's in front of you and the show, and the person which is in front of you in real life will see you back.
Well, I'm very excited. Thank you, Glenn, for this interview and your generosity.
All the lovely questions also.
It was fun, yeah. I'm excited. Thanks, Glenn.
And I will see you very soon.